Thank you for watching CTR TV. I'm Christy Olds, and today we're talking about the CT Realtors Foundation and its Dog Days of Summer campaign. The online fundraiser is going on right now, and it is raising money for 3 animal-based organizations right here in Connecticut. One of those organizations is Connecticut Doggone Recovery Volunteers, and joining us today is Carol Ferrucci from Connecticut Doggone Recovery Volunteers. And tell us what this organization does.
Oh, we're a group of volunteers. We're a 501(c) affiliated with Dog Star Rescue, and we basically have 3 different functions we do right now. One is to help people reunite with their lost pets. We also provide education and training to the community, and we have some community service campaigns where we work with students, whether it be in elementary school, middle school, or high school, and for community service project hours projects or capstone projects.
The main focus of what you guys do, or the main interaction a lot of people have with you, though, is if their dog goes missing, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And what can you do? What does the service provide?
Okay. So things that we do is we offer a consultation to people, and how we do that is we ask a series of questions about the dog's behavior, disposition, its history, what happened to the dog, and from there we develop a search plan. The search plan can entail many different strategies depending on what kind of information we drew from the initial consultation. It could be, most often what we do is we develop an awareness campaign to make people aware that there is a lost dog in the community. So we work with flyers, posters. This is a flyer of ours and actually a dog we found.
And this is kind of a larger sample of what you guys do.
Correct.
We've all seen them in our communities all around the state, right?
I'm sure. I hope you have. And yes, this is what we use: an 11 by 17 on a neon background, and that helps to draw people's eyes to the picture. You notice there's not a lot of writing on it, and we have large lettering so people can see it from a distance in their car. So
Let's talk about this line.
Oh, do not chase.
How important is that line?
Extremely important, because a lot of times when dogs go missing, what happens is they go into what's called flight mode or survival mode. And so they're very, very scared, very nervous. And when someone either chases them, follows them, calls out to them, they're going to run. And what that can do is chase the dog out of an area where we know it's kind of staying around. And worse, it could chase a dog into traffic where it puts it into other dangers such as cars.
How often do you get calls for missing pets, missing dogs?
Every single day we get many, many calls, and people contact us either through email, through our website, through our phone, and we generally get, right now is our high season, with it being the July 4th, which is when most dogs go missing, so we're getting multiple calls a day. But when it's other parts of the year or times of the year, we'll probably get 3 to 4 a day.
That's a lot.
It certainly is. Some are found rather quickly, and we don't have to do anything, no announcements, just help to guide the people, and the dog comes home. And others we have to develop the awareness campaign, which I was speaking about, with the posters, the flyers, and it may even go up to needing to trap the dog if needed.
How are you able to do all of this? You mentioned it's volunteers.
It is. We strictly rely on donations from the community to help us. And all the donations that come in go right back out to helping reunite families, dogs with their families. So we do a variety of fundraisers each year, and some people just donate to us, and that helps us.
If you do help a family, is there a charge? I mean, are they obligated to pay anything?
No, they are not. Our main goal is to help reunite the families with their lost pet. And so we do not charge for this service.
You often meet people probably on one of their worst days. I mean, pets are part of the family. They go missing. There's panic. How do you deal with that kind of that part of it?
It's part of our work is providing emotional support to families. What we hear on almost every single search that's going on out there is how traumatic this is. And quite often family members will say to us, it's like losing a family member. And it's the worst feeling ever. We'll hear that over and over again. It's terrible.
So how do we keep ourselves out of this situation, from having to call you and say my dog went missing?
That's a great question. I mean, that's part of our education campaign. So if you have a new pet that came from let's say a shelter, or you got a pet from a rescue, if you have a dog that's kind of skittish, kind of jumpy when it's around people or unfamiliar things, then I absolutely advise that you get a martingale collar and a harness on your dog that's well fitted, and 2 leash systems. So the 2 leash system can be 1 leash and 2 buckles, or 2 different leashes, but this way the systems work together. So if one is, if the dog is pushing or pulling, the other system can help to keep your dog secure. For some people, what we recommend, like if you're out in ice, slipperiness, hiking, you can slip a carabiner onto your belt. This is a lock carabiner. You can put the leash right through there and put it right in your belt. So if you were to slip or fall, you still have a system. You still have a leash right on your belt, and the dog is still attached to you. Fireworks season, I recommend. I don't care if you have the dog that's the most friendliest dog in your house. This is a time when we get random fireworks, and the calls, I cannot tell you how many are coming in each day. So this is a time when absolutely I would always have my dog leashed, and I would use a martingale and a harness on my dogs. I also have a GPS on my dogs too, but that's a personal decision. But for me, I've heard too much. So with this system here, if you're out in your yard and you're going out at a time you don't believe fireworks are going off, then you lower the probability that your dog's going to get scared. But in case the fireworks do go off, you have the system on your dog, and so that very friendly dog that who all of a sudden becomes very frightened, you still have it secured. I had a dog do that to me about 2 weeks ago. I had it on a system, and it did not get away from me because of how I had it secured. So 4th of July is the worst time. Other times I would think about is when you have people entering your house, whether it be for a party, guest, service people. Take your animal and put it into either a crate or a locked room somewhere, or a closed room, because this is when dogs, people are not aware. They don't have the mindfulness of where the dog is in the home, and the dog might slip out the door. We get a lot of calls like that too. I don't know. I had some people over, and people leave doors open, or the service people are in and out. They're not watching for your dog. It's the same thing if you have your dog outside in a gated area, a fenced-in area. I lock my gates, and the reason why I do that, if service people wanted to come in, or if anybody wanted to come through your gate, I know when my gate is unlocked, and I know when my gate is locked. It also can prevent anybody from thinking of theft also, if they're coming in your yard. Another main point would be is to not leave your dog unattended in the yard. If it's a small dog, you have to worry about things like owls, hawks picking it up. Coyotes can jump a 6-foot fence. When you have your dog out at night, I would have it on a short leash, not more than 6 feet, probably more like 4, and close to me and near the house. When you have a higher probability of coyotes out there looking for food sources, you don't want to have your dog walking around in your backyard in the evening or early morning when there's a higher probability of this. You want to keep your dog on a leash. If you have a senior dog, we sometimes hear about dogs wandering off. And those too, I don't leave them on the yard unattended. I go out there with a leash with them. So if you notice your dog is starting to get a little bit more confused at times, it's time to leash them up. Because that's one of those times you can wander out of your yard, and then you're going to regret it.
How important is what you guys do?
It's extremely important. Like I mentioned, when people go through this experience, it's like losing a family member. It's devastating. So for us, it's helping to reunite people with their lost pets, and there's no better feeling than that, than to help people to get their pet back. I should mention too that oftentimes for your pet, it's very stressful for them too. We've had them cry actually when they've come home because they're just so happy and so joyful to be back. It's not a fun time for anyone. So this is a great service, and the reunifications are so helpful, and they do so much good. It's a very positive thing.
And again, it's all funded through donations.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And anything else you'd like to add?
I think we pretty much cover it. We do have our community service projects, so if anybody has any students that need to put in some service hours and they'd like to work with us, we love to have it. We've done things with kids in elementary school all the way up to high school. And we're willing to do trainings with shelter employees. We have another animal control training coming up, and we know that there's some shelters that are also interested in training their volunteers. The more we can make people aware of what to do and what not to do when a dog gets lost, like we mentioned, chasing, calling out, following, the more we're able to educate people on those processes, the more dogs we'll get home.
Carol, thank you for joining us here
Thank
in
you
our
for having
CTR
me.
TV studio. And if you would like to support the Connecticut Doggone Recovery volunteers through the CT Realtors Foundation Dog Days of Summer campaign, you can go to ctrealtors-care.org/pets and make a donation today.